Clap now because you won't be clapping later after I yell at you. My talk is called BuddyPress 1.5 or BuddyPress 1. Kick-Ass. Nice. My name is Boone. That's my information. Here's a picture of me. Just a little bit about me. That's obviously from a time when I was a lot cooler than I am now. So I'm one of the developers for BuddyPress. I'm a WordPress developer for hire. I do a couple big projects for the CUNY system, and I do a lot of educational projects. I have secondary education especially. So that's a little bit about me. I've been working with WordPress for maybe 2.5 years. I'm here today to talk about BuddyPress, and so I'm going to talk about BuddyPress 1.5. And I saw a lot of you raise your hands as users of BuddyPress, but for those of you who aren't, I'm going to take a couple minutes just to tell you a little bit about what BuddyPress is. O-M-G. All right, so BuddyPress is OMG. It is a social layer for your WordPress installation. The way that I generally like to talk about this is that WordPress is about content. What I mean is that, for all that it does, what WordPress is really about is that you write some content and then you share that with other people. Of course, there's an author in there. I mean, that's what Michael's plugin is all about. I mean, the author is important, but really, the content is really at the center of what WordPress does. That's what we call the content management system. BuddyPress kind of takes that and flips it on its head a little bit. Instead of your installation of WordPress being about the content first and the people second, it turns the people into the main nodes of organization for the site, and then the content kind of flows out from those individuals. So how does it do that? Well, it does it with a whole list of social features, the kind of social features you'd expect to have in a social networking plugin for WordPress. You have things like friend relationships, you have groups, and groups are a really powerful feature of BuddyPress that allow individuals to form ad hoc organizations that include things like discussion forums, but they're extensible, which means that developers have written dozens and dozens of plugins that let groups do different things, have collaborative document spaces, have shared upload spaces, have shared wikis, things like that. Private messages are like an internal email system. There are discussion forums built in through using BuddyPress. There are activity streams, and activity streams are another really powerful part of BuddyPress that pull together all of the activity from all over a WordPress installation and pull it into a single place. You might think of your Facebook wall, for instance. You see something like Boone posted a picture, Boone updated his status, Boone just checked into New York City. This is a little bit like that. Boone posted a new blog post on his blog. Boone posted a new forum post in such and such a group. Boone became friends with Steve. Things like that show up in the activity stream. And the activity stream is especially cool because all those things are filterable. So it becomes a nice way to find out what's going on the site, and you can filter that in various sorts of ways. Only see blog activity, only see forum activity. I'll show you some of that stuff in a minute if you want to see it. But that's activity streams. And extensible profiles. So this is kind of, when I say that BuddyPress is about people, this is really at the center of that. You have the ability as the admin of a BuddyPress site to determine which fields you'd like to show up. You can have drop-down fields, you can have plain text fields. What school do you go to? What's your favorite brand of chewing gum? Which is your favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? As if there's a question, Donatello's obviously the best one. Stuff like that. So BuddyPress kind of comes with all these features right out of the box. As I sort of alluded to before, BuddyPress has a whole plugin system behind it. So BuddyPress is a WordPress plugin, but then you can also have plugins for BuddyPress, which are also WordPress plugins, but rely on BuddyPress. There are some 300 or 400 of them in the WordPress repository right now. So there's a pretty good community. You can really extend BuddyPress's features. I'll show you a quick example of BuddyPress in action. This one is particularly delicious from a website called tastykitchen.com. I actually don't know who built this one, but it's pretty sweet. Let's see if I can figure out how to get this over here. So This is a BuddyPress installation, and if you've used BuddyPress before, you'll see some design elements here that you might say, I wonder if that's BuddyPress, but they've done a pretty good job here. You might not know this is BuddyPress, but you'll see here already some of the features that I've already been telling you about. It's really person-focused, and this site, by the way, Tasty Kitchen, is a recipe site, and parts of the site are like curated by the owners of the site. So here are the best recipes, a little bit like Cooks Illustrated or something. But then they have this community section, which is totally crowdsourced, user-generated. That's kind of a nice part about BuddyPress is that since it's built on WordPress, you can have your regular WordPress blog, and then you can have the community stuff added on top of it, or next to it, or however you want to think about it. So when you go in here and you check out some of the links, here's a user's profile, and here are some of the profile information on the back end of BuddyPress. The admin has said, I love to cook, and then there's maybe a drop down to make people smile, to make money, to spite my relatives, whatever. So then down here we have the wire. The wire is a little bit like the wall or the activity stream, where we get a sense of what's happening around the site. In this case, they've altered the default activity, or the default way that the activity stream works, and they're only showing messages that have been posted to this person, just like a Facebook wall, just like you'd leave a message on their wall. The activity stream in BuddyPress actually does a lot more than that, but it's possible to filter it down in these ways to sort of make the experience a little bit more focused. And you can see up here that there are tabs, so you can see different things about this member, Isabel. You can see her friend list, and this can be filtered in various sorts of ways. Let's see, I want to see the newest registered ones. I'll probably show up near the top of this. Oh, maybe I'm not friends with her. Okay. We can look at her recipe box. So this is a plugin that somebody built for BuddyPress. I actually don't know how they did it, but I mean, it looks pretty sweet. It looks like you're able to browse the site and find recipes that you like and click add to my recipe box. Then it shows up here on this list. I mean, that's pretty nice, right? It's like bookmarks, except they're shared bookmarks because anyone can go in and check out anyone else's bookmarks. Pretty cool. So that's that. This is a really nice implementation of BuddyPress. When I show you some stuff about BuddyPress 1.5 in a few minutes, I'll show you what BuddyPress looks like out of the box. This is pretty heavily customized, but it gives you a sense of the kinds of ways that BuddyPress can be used. This is just one type of use, but I have built, oh gee whiz, I mean, what have I built? I've built social sites for faculty and staff members at universities. I've built social sites for like miniature Yelps, so people do restaurant reviews. I've built dating sites. I've built lots of things, but they're not coming off to my mind right now. So BuddyPress is pretty powerful, and it can be used in a lot of these ways that are very straightforward social network, but also these really niche social networks that you see right there. All right.
Is the group site built on there?
I don't think that groups is activated here. So
I mean the WordPressNYC group.
Yes. Yeah, the WordPressNYC group, and if you've been to the site, it's WPNYC.org. Is that right? Or .com. So that's actually a pretty straightforward installation of BuddyPress. It's more out of the box than this. So when you go to WPNYC.org, you'll see that it looks. Why don't I just bring it up since I have a computer in front of me? WPNYC.org. This is a little bit closer to what BuddyPress looks like when you first install it. This is really nicely themed. I mean, it used to be you just had default up there. This is really nicely themed, but you can see this is when we look at the default, you'll see that this is a little bit closer. It's got these main tabs at the top, activity. When we go to the activity stream, we can see what's happening around the site. We can see only forum replies and really narrow things down. This is a little bit more what BuddyPress looks like out of the box. Okay. Any questions about BuddyPress, generally speaking, before I start talking about what's coming up in the new version? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any examples of a VIP or like a members only portion of a website where you have to be, a paid member to access content?
Yeah. I have built sites like that, and a lot of them aren't launched yet, so I can't show them to you. And I'm actually not supposed to talk about them. Like that works. But yeah, you can, because BuddyPress uses WordPress as its user authentication system, any plugin that will do what you're describing for WordPress will also do it for BuddyPress. So there's a great one called S2 Member. How many people have used S2 Member? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty well known. It's really powerful. There's a free version that's really powerful, and if you pay a little bit more, I think you get like a bunch more features. So really developer friendly. It allows you to, it's S2 Member, one word, the letter 2, number 2. Gee whiz, I'm really sorry. So yeah, that allows you to integrate with PayPal and say that certain parts of the site are only visible to people who are logged in, certain parts of the site are only available to people who have a certain subscription level, stuff like that. So that is done. It's hard for me to show you one of those examples because I'd actually have to be a member of the site in order to do it, but yeah, there's lots of them.
That's not standard operating procedure with a regular BuddyPress?
It's not built into BuddyPress. BuddyPress doesn't try to do everything in the world because there's only a few people who maintain it, and so we're already stretched pretty thin. If we tried to integrate payment gateways and membership levels and things like that, which probably only a relatively small percentage of our users would use anyway, we would be totally overwhelmed with work. But since these WordPress plugins are available, the integration is actually pretty easy.
So so anybody can access the site and see all the content. It's just you have to be a member in order to be able to spit out content.
BuddyPress out of the box is generally totally public. Groups are able to have, groups out of the box have 3 different privacy levels. They can be totally public, private, or hidden. And the private or hidden levels do have their content sort of hidden behind a wall, and then they're accessible only by invitation or by request. That's what BuddyPress comes with if you just download it right now. However, if you download BuddyPress plus something like S2 Member, spend an hour integrating the two, then you can have any level of customized access that you want. Other questions about BuddyPress in general? Yeah.
I want to say, this is BuddyPress 1.5, and I know I've used older versions. Are there vast improvements, you'd say, between, like I was using it in like last November.
Yeah.
I was having a little bit of a tough time, that's kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Well, the title of this talk is BuddyPress 1.5, and so far I've just been talking about BuddyPress in general, so just hold your horses for a second. I'll talk more about it. I'll talk more about the improvements. Yes, the short answer is yes, it's improved in a zillion different ways, but I'm going to talk more about that after I get done introing people to BuddyPress in general. Yes?
How integratable that's word with general WordPress themes? Because I know I've tried it before a while back, had a hard time making it integrate correctly, but I'm not sure the new WordPress cares to that.
The question is how easy is it to integrate with a regular WordPress theme? So I want to talk about this a little bit more when we get to talking about BP default and some of the improvements in it, but I will say briefly that BuddyPress is a WordPress plugin. And so BuddyPress themes, and there are specific BuddyPress themes, but they are WordPress themes. It's a kind of WordPress theme. It just so happens that WordPress only has a couple different kinds of content to show. They have single posts, single pages, archives, author archives, there's only a handful of templates they need. BuddyPress has groups, members, friend lists, member lists. It adds a bunch more stuff, so it needs a bunch more templates. The way that BuddyPress does this is by simply adding templates to a WordPress theme. So BP default is a WordPress theme. If you turned off all of the BuddyPress components inside of BP default, which you can do, you can turn off activity, you can turn off groups, you can turn off friends. If you did that, it would still act like a regular WordPress theme. It still has page.php, it has single.php, index.php, all the stuff you know from a WordPress theme. So in the past, a lot of WordPress theme developers and designers have gotten terrified when they opened up the BuddyPress theme because it does have a bunch more folders and it has a lot more stuff in it. But the short answer is that to integrate a BuddyPress, to get BuddyPress working in a WordPress theme, all you gotta do is drop in the templates. That's it. You can get it working in 3 minutes. You just copy the templates from BP default and you paste them in. It will inherit the header and footer and sidebar and all of the styles of your regular theme. It's just that all of the BuddyPress specific stuff will come out of those new templates that you added. Now styling it is a different story because you can copy a bunch of the styles out of BP default, in which case it'll look a lot like this. I'm assuming what is happening here. Or you can style it off from scratch, which is a lot of work. So it's a lot of work to style websites, and BuddyPress adds a lot of content to websites, so it can be a lot of work. Some of the improvements that are coming in the version after 1.5 will make it even easier to theme because we're introducing fancy stuff like output buffering that you might have seen in the new BuddyPress that will have template fallbacks even if you don't have support for BuddyPress in your theme. It'll just automatically inject the markup that we think is appropriate. So we don't do that quite yet, but that's coming. For the time being, it's generally, like I said, a matter of cutting and pasting and then getting to work with CSS.